Outside the Redskins locker room, ready to present the 4th and Payne Championship to Santana Moss for your Week 7 effort up in New York. Couple of touchdowns. Congratulations, my friend.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Oh, yeah, man. Now tell me, last week, Lorenzo Alexander, he took that home. He let his son play with it. The week before, Ryan Kerrigan took it down the aisles of the grocery store. What are you going to do with the belt this week, Santana?
Oh, man, I don't know. I think maybe I'll probably take it home as well. I got a couple of little ones that probably get a kick out of it, so I'll probably take it home for a day, because if I leave it home, you might not get it back.
Oh, the kids might break it.
Yeah, exactly. So I take it home for a day, let the kids enjoy it, but at the end of the day, I have them lock it ready for the next guy.
My man, make the teammates jealous. Do me one favor, look into the camera, do this. You can't see me.
You can't see me.
And welcome to 4th and Payne, the only pro wrestling show to be hosted by an NFL player and the weight loss champion. He is Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker. I am former wrestling announcer turned the weight loss champion Chuck Carroll. And joining us on the line this week's 4th and Payne champion, a guy well-deserved, 2 scores in the heartbreaking loss in New York, Santana Moss. How are you, Santana?
I'm good, man. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
It's our pleasure. Now, Adam, when you and I were trying to decide who to give this belt to, it really was pretty clear-cut this week. Santana stepped up in a big way. I know that you personally were really impressed with this performance.
Absolutely. 2 touchdowns, almost the game winner. I mean, the man looked like he had an extra little spring in his step this week to me.
Yeah, Santana, talk to me a little bit about this. When you woke up Sunday morning, were you expecting to find pay dirt twice?
Man, honestly, man, every week I'm looking to do big things, I feel like, this offseason I put in so much work, and, I'm a true believer in, what you put in and how you prepare, you're going to get that out. Your performance is going to show for that. So, just knowing how I did in my past and all the things that I've done to get to this point right now, this has been one of those years that I feel the best I probably felt in a long time. So every week I go out there, I'm looking forward to doing big things.
Yeah, and you said, I believe the last time that you joined us, that you really went hard during the offseason and you went into depth a little bit about your training regimen. Can you still feel the impact of all that hard work that you put in, say 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months ago? Is that still carrying over today?
It's still carrying over. I think the main part of it is just me being a lot lighter. I just can't believe how much heavy I played those last few years, man. And it's just impossible for me to sit here and think about it now, because I feel great out there flying around, being a little lighter. And, I think that's the best part of my whole regimen, losing that weight. That really has probably elevated my game to where it's at right now.
Let's talk a little bit about this game, because this year you guys at the receiving corps seem to be having a little bit more fun with the different style of quarterback. How different is it playing for a guy like Robert as compared to the quarterbacks that you've had since you've been here in Washington?
Well, it's a lot different, man. Robert is one of those guys with a skill that we haven't had for a long time. And, with that said, you have to really be prepared for anything when it comes from him. He's one of those guys that he can take off and run when he needs to, and he's actually always looking to pass the ball. So, that's rare from a guy who really can do what he can do, with the ball in his hand. So, he gives us a chance, and that's one of the great things that we like about it. Anytime, any place, anywhere, we can get that ball. So we always got to be alert out there.
Now, here's my question, because I heard you guys did a passing camp. Everyone went down to Waco, Texas last offseason and did a passing camp. My question is this. Why does everyone go to where the rookie's at? Like, why doesn't the rookie come here where you guys are at? What's up with that?
Honestly, man, Robert told me to put everything together, and he trusted me with, whatever I wanted to do. But I felt that it was best to be able to let him be the comfortable one, and let us, follow. And that's why we all, a lot of us didn't really want to go there. I know Pierre wanted to come to Miami. That's where me and Pierre are based at. Pierre, he's in West Palm, and I'm in Miami. And he wanted to bring everybody there. And I think that would have gave us more time to be able to do a lot of other things. I'm kind of glad we did go to Waco, because we got a chance to experience how Robert, has been pretty much preparing himself these last 4 years in college, and just to see what he's about, And it was my first time being in Waco, so I really did enjoy the trip. But, it's always best to make sure that guy's going to be giving you the ball. He's the comfortable one. So that's what I wanted. That's why I did it that way.
That makes a lot of sense. I will say this. I've been to Waco. I've played in Waco. there's not much in Waco. I would have personally gone to Miami if it was me. I would have been in Miami all day long.
You don't strike me as a Miami guy, though, man. Guys like you and I tend to burn rather easily.
Well, I would have gone to Miami. There is nothing in Waco. I mean, seriously. But how much do you think that has helped you doing that passing camp versus in the past where you haven't done those passing camps with the quarterbacks during that break that we had between OTAs and training camp?
I mean, honestly, for me, myself, personally, I think it helped a lot. You always want the quarterback to get to know you. I've been I've been a customer of a lot of quarterbacks. He makes the 12-1, and catching that pass from Kirk 2 weeks ago, that was my 13th quarterback that I had since I've been in the league 12 years. So, but just getting back to Robert, when you have that many quarterbacks, or have played with that many quarterbacks, you try your best to make sure that you know all the ins and outs about the guy. And I try to do that because I feel like right now in my career, I don't have that many years to really sit back and say, well, we'll get it. I want to make sure that he know what type of guy he was getting, when it comes out of, the pass catcher that I can be for him. So, I really want to go there and just show him the kind of, who I was as far as how I am off the field and how I'm going to attack his balls and, take my routes on the field. So I think it was really beneficial for all of us. But I really enjoyed, the whole outing, just knowing that we went up there and put that time in.
Now, Santana, obviously we're talking about a rookie quarterback with Robert Griffin III, but you're actually surrounded with a lot of young receivers, whether it be Hankerson, Josh Morgan, he's even a little bit of a young pup. What is your role as far as mentoring a lot of these young guys on the roster, and are they really receptive to a lot of the wisdom that you're imparting on them?
I think the best I can do for them is just show them how it works. I'm not big in talking, but when I do talk, I'm pretty sure everybody hears me because I don't talk that much. But when it comes down to mentoring, I've never really been big on trying to mentor anybody. I give a lot of advice because I've seen a lot, and I've been fortunate enough to have guys give me advice. But and most of it's not really direct. Sometimes it's always just about things in general. And that's the basis, I kind of condone our whole little meetings and everything like that. I don't really, try to do too much talking. I like to go on the field and show them how hard of a worker I am. And maybe they can see that, that's what got me to where I'm at right now. And that hopefully that rubs off on them,
Last question, I want to circle back to Sunday. And a lot of people are saying the loss in New York was a quote-unquote good loss. Are you on board with that philosophy that a loss, there can be some rewarding aspects that come out of it, or are you strictly if it's a W or bust kind of guy?
Man, it ain't nothing good about losing, period, to me. And in New York, that didn't make it that much worse. Honestly, I understand we played a good game and, we was right there, but I've never been a moral victory type of guy. And I think that's the only way you can be in any sport. It's all about trying to get that W. And until you get a W, that's the only way you're going to feel good. So I take a lot from the game. You can learn a lot from the game. But the most thing that, we're going to learn is how this feeling feels, knowing that we had a game wrapped up and we didn't close it out.
Adam, you subscribe to that philosophy?
I do. I mean, you play the game to win the game. There are positives to be taken from the game, just, what everyone showed and how well everyone played. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, in the stat column, we're 3-4 versus 4-3. It's hard for a guy like me to sit at home and watch and not be able to help. But, I do take positives, but at the same time, you want to get that victory.
Now let's focus on something a little bit more positive. Chris Cooley rejoins the team this week. How big of an impact do you think he's going to have in the locker room? Obviously, you lose Fred Davis to an unfortunate Achilles injury, but now you can bring in a guy, Chris Cooley. He's familiar with the system. He says he should be able to help the team as soon as this Sunday against the Steelers. Do you think he's going to be able to just hop right in and pick up where he left off, Santana?
I believe he can, man. Chris is one of those guys that, even when he was out here every day playing with us, it seemed like he could just get out there and just go. He didn't really need to be doing much. He's a smart guy. He's been playing this game long enough. He knows his offense well enough, and I'm looking forward to seeing him out there. I think everything happened for a reason. You hate to see what happened to Fred. I feel so bad because Fred's a good friend of mine. He's one of my good friends on the team. But due to the fact that he has to deal with that, I just hope him that I'm wishing him back, health soon and strong. and I just hope that we can, move on and get some good play out of Chris.
We're speaking with Santana Moss, this week's Fourth and Pain champion, and we're done talking about football per se. I'm done with that. This is a personality-driven show, and damn it, it's time to bring out the personality. We're talking about Chris Cooley, and Santana, I don't know if you're familiar with this story, but we actually had Chris on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he told us that maybe he and Adam got off to a little bit of a rough start. It was a preseason game. You guys were headed out to Arizona to face the Cardinals. This was Adam's first year in Washington. And Chris starts giving Adam a hard time about watching pro wrestling on the airplane. As Chris put it, Adam was actually breaking down film of The Rock on the flight out to Arizona. And it culminates in Adam confronting Chris on the sidelines of the Arizona game just a little bit. They're now, they've kissed and made up, so to speak. They're good friends now. But were you aware at all that pro wrestling nearly brought Adam Carriker and Chris Cooley to a little minor skirmish on the sidelines?
Not at all, man. I didn't know that. That's news to me right there.
Oh,
very.
To me, but it's funny, I mean, honestly, man, when it comes to guys and the things that we do, you can't really stop a guy from being him. That's one thing I learned. I mean, it's guys that just do what they do and still go out there and play the sport and play it well. And, I've known a lot of them, especially one of our greats, in Clinton Porter. But, just to hear that story, man, it's kind of funny. But I'm glad that, they all made up for it.
Very few people know about it, and it was not going to be minor blows, by the way. Luckily, nothing happened. And yes, we have kissed and made up per se, as Chuck said.
I just love the fact that you confront him on the sideline in the middle of a game talking about, do you have a problem with me?
Well, we're not playing in the game, so I'm just standing there. I'm rather bored. I see Chris. I'm a little irked by what happened a couple days ago, so I decided to bring it up and see what the deal was. He had no recollection or memory of the incident.
Good Lord.
So I decided to let it go, being the wonderful gentleman that I am.
Santana, have you ever heard of anything as ridiculous as that?
Hey, man, I've seen a lot of stuff in my years, man, but that one right there, that's probably been the first. That's off the wall right there to me, But at the end of the day, man, like I said before, some of the things I've seen, you might think that it was a little, off the wall also.
No doubt. Last question for you. What can we look for out of Santana Moss for the rest of the season? You're 7 games in, the team's 3-4, but you yourself, you're having a great season. What are your goals for the remaining 9 games, Santana?
Man, honestly, man, I've been saying this for years, and then anybody, who has watched me and has, interviewed me throughout the years, they'll know I don't set goals. I don't believe in it. I know that's a lot of other guys does it, and it's great. But I just feel like as long as I go out there prepared today, work hard, study, do what I have to do, come game day, everything should all fall into place. I believe when you put in good work, you get good work out of it. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm continue to study, watch film hard, and just try to go out there and lead us in the way they want me to lead. And that's all I can be,
Lead by example. And Santana, before we let you go, the last question is absolutely yours. We always like to do this, turn the table. So if there's anything that you want to ask Adam, put on the spot, no matter how off the wall, now is your chance to ask Adam Carriker anything on the record that you could possibly imagine.
Oh, yeah, it is off the spot, man. I thought it was going to be all about y'all asking me questions. I'm going to have to get back to y'all get back to y'all on that one. I don't have nothing really in the top of my dome for Adam, but if I ever come up with anything, I'll make sure y'all have to put me back on for it.
Fair enough, man.
Do you want to ask for a ride somewhere? I mean, I had a guy ask me for $100,000 one time. I mean, the most random thing ever. He goes, "Can I have $100,000?" I'm like, "No." Next question.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy, man. People are crazy these days, man. So I can only imagine what people ask,
There you go. Santana Moss on Fourth and Pain, this week's Fourth and Pain champion, and the belt is all yours. Congratulations, Tana.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. I'll make sure I take care of it, too.
Appreciate it, Santana.
All right, this is Fourth and Pain. We will be right back.